The hamsters are running on the little wheel. Come on. Come on. All right. I think we are live and good to go. This is Josh Shanley with EXP Realty, and I'm super excited to do an interview today with hybrid real estate investor James Brown and why he decided to join EXP. But that's just scratching the surface. We have several very interesting things that we're going to unpack and some unique things that James and his partner Toby are doing that might be opportunities for you watching. Before we get started, I always have to make sure that we are all systems go here and that the technology is working the way it should be. So as I make sure that the live is working, if you all can do me a huge favor and tap the like button or smash the like button. If you're watching on Facebook, maybe even comment to put a little funny emoji or GIF in the comment. If you're watching on YouTube, do me a huge favor, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and ding the notification bell. And if you're watching on LinkedIn, yes, we are streaming on LinkedIn as well. Certainly, maybe give us the little clap emoticon or whatever that thing is over there, and certainly comment and let us know that you're there and live. So James has been with the company with EXP now for, I don't even remember how long. The fall?
October.
Okay, so October of 2020. Mm-hmm. I remember, I think we first started talking in the summertime, if I remember correctly, maybe June or July. Why don't we do this first, though? Tell everybody a little bit about who you are, where you're at in the world. So if people have referrals that might be in your market. And then we're going to separately kind of dive deeper on some unique referral opportunities that you and your business partner can help agents, lenders, and even other real estate investors with. So first off, let us know who you are and where you're from.
Yeah, so James Brown, easy one to remember.
Yeah, really.
So I live in the Denver Front Range, Colorado area, and but do deals all over the country actually. So
when you say do deals, we're talking about the hybrid real estate investing deals, and we'll unpack some of that, what that looks like. If you have clients in the more traditional sense of real estate, Denver area is James sort of service area. As far as that goes. But why don't you tell everybody a little bit about this hybrid real estate investing model and how you're doing transactions, all over, and the type of client that someone might be able to refer to you and what that looks like.
Okay, yeah. So what we're doing is we're working with other agents and lenders. What we do is we find people that can't get qualified for a loan now, but want to buy a house. So we screen them, and if they're a good fit for our program, we let them go pick out a house, and then we work with investors that will buy the house for them and then lease it back to them until they can get their financing together. And so like an ideal client is maybe somebody that's self-employed. They were writing off too much on their taxes and they weren't claiming enough income.
Yep.
So, and they might, have some cash in the bank. They're financeable, but not right now because they had things, out of balance. So they just need some time to get qualified. And then we have people that, they might have credit issues that are holding them back too. So life happens. Some people go through divorce, medical bills, things that, throw off somebody that's normally good with money, and they just need time to get that all straightened out. So,
yeah. And so, for lenders watching, I mean, I'm sure if you're a lender, you come across these type of potential clientele all the time. You can find James on Facebook, just reach out, private message him there, or you can Google search. I mean, don't just Google search James Brown because you'll get all kinds of results. But if you do a Google search for James Brown Hybrid Real Estate or James Brown EXP Realty, just make sure it's the one in Denver, because I think there are multiple James Browns even in EXP. But one way or another, we can get you connected with James if you have some clientele that might fit what you're looking for. You also obviously work with investors too. So if there are investors that are looking to get started in investing or add to their portfolio with these types of transactions, that may be a great referral or connection as well. Or maybe you're an agent watching this and you're interested yourself in being that investor on deals like these. So that would be a great thing to reach out to James with as well. All right, so what initially got you interested in or thinking about EXP? Well, actually, maybe even a step back. What made you decide to get licensed? Because you were doing this before even getting licensed. Let's start there, and then what got you interested in EXP?
Yeah, exactly. So we had joined a mentorship to learn how to do this. And anybody that's interested, that's available as well.
Yeah.
So we could do the business without being licensed, but it helps to be licensed to kind of work with other agents and also pick up commissions on the transactions. So that was the main thing. It's like, okay,
Yeah, kind of a no-brainer. Yeah.
And I come from a graphic design background. I wanted to invest, and so this is all so different than what I'd been doing in the past. And
right.
I never had a goal of becoming an agent.
Yeah.
But now that I am, all these opportunities have opened up, in not just with the hybrid investing side, but regular transactions too. So it's like, wow, there's a lot to it. So it made a lot of sense to be licensed.
Right on. Okay. And then what got you EXP curious? I know this, but just for those listening, what got you interested and what eventually got us connected?
Boy, Toby and I, we had been looking at different brokerages for about a year, and had in-person interviews with a lot of traditional brokerages and a few different people within EXP. And just, we kept coming back to it. It's like, this totally makes sense. We're kind of in control of our own destiny here, and not making, some big brokerage owner rich off our backs. So, we talked to a few different people, but then Toby discovered you online because you're the master digital marketer guy, right? So that's how we found you, like in Pennsylvania from Colorado, like kind of crazy.
Yeah. And if I remember correctly, when you first had scheduled a call, because you had seen the Home Boss selling system. Now, it wasn't even called that back then, but our unique way of selling properties and the unique value proposition that we're able to use to get more listing opportunities. Does that sound right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the EXP model itself with stock and revenue share, all that stuff was like, okay, that's amazing. But then we saw the Home Boss system, we're like, oh my God, it's like shooting fish in a barrel having that, so we would be able to get listings all day long. So like we had an opportunity to come into EXP through other channels, but we're like, oh, we're going for that. Like that totally makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Right on.
We're
right
just
on.
Smiling every day.
Yep. And I remember having several conversations with you and Toby and with Bob on the line as well. And so after a few conversations, you came on in October. A couple other things I wanted to drill deeper on. Number one is the fact that because of the model that we have, the best fit in my experience for what we do are people that are truly business oriented, entrepreneurial oriented. They're looking at building a business not just looking for a sales job, right? That's something I heard a quote on one of our team meetings from Dave Kennord. I think it was Dave Kennord. And I remember him saying, you are either being leveraged or creating leverage, right? So many, if not, well, let's just say many agents are being leveraged by their brokerage. Our brokerage affords you the opportunity to create leverage. And that, to me, like when Dave said that, man, I can, I will never forget that quote, right? You're either being leveraged or creating leverage. And it's something that definitely stuck with me. And so for the right people and people that are investment minded, entrepreneurial minded, business minded, it's a no-brainer. Another great way that I have heard EXP described, for most people in real estate, it's the last best opportunity. The last best opportunity. There'll be other opportunities that come around, but this is, and it has been that for me. I have created more wealth and leverage and equity in business in the last 18 months than I did in the previous 15 years. And it's because the model that we get to play under and leverage. So you mentioned that there have been opportunities that have come about as part of being licensed that you didn't even really anticipate traditional wise. Where people are always curious when we do these, like where business is coming from for you. Where are what are your sources of business opportunity? And maybe even talk to us about, the last couple transactions, what those look like, where they came from, things of that nature.
Yeah. Few different sources. So we're running ad campaigns, both for new construction buyers. We've got a whole pool of those there. And then on the listing side, a few different sources where we're running mainly Facebook ads and getting leads in that way. That's kind of our main thing. Toby and I also do some calls with for sale by owners and expireds. That's a huge well of potential listing leads. And all of those can be both as well. So yeah, it's like we've had to turn off our lead sources sometimes to like catch up. Like, oh, we just got a list of FSBOs. Like, hold on, stop our other stuff. So
and we've mentioned Toby a couple of times. We're going to do a round two and have Toby, James' business partner. So Toby, James and Toby had been partnered prior to James getting licensed and going with EXP. Toby, at some point, might get his license and join in here, but currently they work together on the investment side of things, and we'll definitely do a round two on that. So most of your opportunities right now, most of the the client opportunities that you're generating are from digital, and then maybe also then sprinkling in for sale by owners and a little bit of expired. Is that safe to say?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome.
Plus, we're also in a creative real estate group, and we run the Colorado Accountability Group, but it's a nationwide group. So we have the opportunity to not only refer out around the country, but just in Colorado, selling with our home boss system. Like we're pounding that idea into the heads of like wholesalers and all of our creative community. It's like, this is the best way to sell for it. Anybody. So working with fix and flippers on their exit and just any seller.
Yeah, so we've mentioned the Home Boss selling system several times. If you're curious about what that is and the unique value proposition it affords us or gives us the ability to make, just reach out to James or I, and we can get you information, a free training class on the idea, why it came about, and why and how it's so powerful in any market climate, but particularly with what's going on with how hot the market is and some of the other things that have happened with the DOJ NAR stuff and just a whole bunch of or confluence of things have made this even more unique and valuable, and a way for us to have a competitive advantage in our market. So what would be if you were if you were having a conversation with somebody who was curious about EXP, what would you recommend as their next step, or what would you say to someone who is maybe curious about it but just not sure, maybe on the fence about whether they should take the plunge?
That's a challenge because there's so much to unpack.
Yeah, yeah,
I typically, so like if they're brand new agents, I've been sending them a list of questions to ask in vetting brokers.
no, that's a great thing. Yep.
And then I'll send them the Brent Gove EXP model explained video.
Yep.
That goes into depth and kind of gets the whole model kind of in their heads, because it's different and new and
Yeah.
eye-opening. So that's kind of how I would start. But
yeah. Well, since you mentioned that, in the description, I did put a link to a website that we've built for our group, our organization within EXP, that details a number of additional resources and benefits and programs and platforms that we make available to agents that we partner with. The URL is buildingupagents.com. It's in the description. When you go there, there's also a video overview of the model from two of our business partners, James and I, Bob and Joe, walk you through the model. And it is different. It's not traditional, but it's, we're growing like a wildfire, because the traditional way that real estate has been built, Alan, it's just old and outdated. It's time for something new and fresh. And we are lucky enough to be able to leverage a platform that Glenn Sanford, our founder, built, it's just going crazy. So the other thing I would say to those that are curious is, whether you reach out to James or I, neither one of us, you're not going to get a hard pitch or a hard sale in any way, shape, or form. James, Toby, and I, and Bob, my business partner, we spoke 3, 4, 5, 6 times before James ever made the switch. And I would say that's the case with most people who are curious. It's going to take several conversations, right? It's got to make sense for you. And so if you reach out to one of us, please know there's no pressure. There's no hard sales pitch or anything. We're going to answer your questions. We're going to provide you with more information and details so you can make the best decision for you and your business, and and what makes the most sense for you. So, James, I think we'll come in for a landing on that, and say once again, if you're curious, if you'd like more information about anything that we mentioned, about James and Toby's hybrid real estate investing model, about the Home Boss selling system, or just the resources and benefits that you would have access to if you were to partner with us, just let us know. One cool little thing to add is James kind of dropped that they had hired, James and Toby had hired a mentor to teach them this hybrid real estate investing model. Well, that fellow that they hired, he's part of the group now as well. And so we'll probably have him on one of these to unpack that real soon as well. So, James, thanks so much for your time and sharing today. And I'm sure we'll talk real soon.